What does grief look like after 28 years? For Charles Spencer, the younger brother of Princess Diana, it's a quiet walk across the grounds of his family's estate. It's a bouquet of roses, cut fresh from Althorp's gardens, placed gently on the island where his sister rests. And it's a simple caption, "Always an impossible day." Just 5 words, yet carrying the weight of nearly 3 decades of love, loss, and memory. But behind this gesture lies a story that stretches far beyond flowers. Because Diana's memory is not just a family matter, it's a global legacy that refuses to fade. When Diana died in that Paris car crash on August 31, 1997, the world was thrown into collective shock. She was only 36. Chased by paparazzi, her life ended suddenly, and with it, a chapter of modern royalty closed forever. Billions mourned. Streets filled with flowers. And she was instantly immortalized as the People's Princess, a woman who brought warmth, vulnerability, and humanity into a monarchy often accused of being cold. But where Diana would rest was not a simple decision. Tradition would have placed her among royals in London, perhaps at Westminster Abbey or Windsor. Yet Charles Spencer fought for something different. He wanted his sister away from the constant spotlight, away from the endless gaze that had followed her even in death. And so, she was laid to rest at Althorp, the Spencer family's estate, on a small island surrounded by water. A place of seclusion, of privacy. A place where Diana could finally have the peace she was denied in life. Her grave has become a pilgrimage site, though carefully controlled. Visitors cannot walk directly onto the island. It remains sacred ground, visited only by family. And every year, Charles Spencer returns, marking the impossible day with gestures like this year's bouquet. But flowers on a grave tell only part of the story. Diana's legacy lives in far more than memory. She transformed what it meant to be royal. She shook hands with AIDS patients when others were too afraid. She walked through landmine fields to draw attention to a cause the world was ignoring. She gave her time, her energy, and her love to those who often felt forgotten. And in doing so, she built a bridge between the monarchy and the people. Today, her sons carry that bridge forward in different ways. Prince William, now heir to the throne, continues to champion mental health awareness and environmental causes, echoing the empathy his mother instilled in him. Prince Harry, though estranged from the institution itself, often invokes Diana when speaking about compassion and advocacy. In 2022, he said he wished his children could have met her, and that every day, he hopes to make her proud. That's the kind of influence that doesn't vanish with time. And then there's Charles Spencer himself. At Diana's funeral, his eulogy was a thunderclap. He promised his sister that her blood family would protect her sons, and he openly criticized the pressures and exploitation that had tormented her. Many saw his words as a rare moment of honesty in a ceremony otherwise steeped in royal protocol. Since then, Spencer has remained a guardian of her story, speaking out when he feels her memory is being misused, and quietly honoring her with gestures like this year's roses. Still, for all the tributes, the wound has never fully healed. Rumors and speculation still swirl around Diana's death, some convinced it was more than an accident, others pointing to evidence of chaos and negligence. While the official conclusion remains that it was a tragic crash, the fact that questions still linger shows just how deeply people struggle to accept the loss. And so, 28 years on, the sight of flowers at Diana's grave resonates far beyond one family. It reminds us of a woman who changed the world not with power, but with kindness. It reminds us of a life cut short, but never forgotten. And it reminds us that grief, whether private or public, has no expiration date. Perhaps in the end, the true measure of a life isn't in crowns, castles, or titles. It's in how deeply it is remembered, and how fiercely it is missed. So now we ask you, where were you when you first heard about Diana's passing, and how do you remember her today? Share your thoughts below, and let's keep the spirit of the People's Princess alive together.